Now, as a couple, these males go into an unknown field. They cheating on him. His natural defense after he would cheat on him would be, they might have a husband, a boyfriend that, that yells at him or downs him. They might have a Coca-Cola shaking on him and, feeling down, and you say something negative.
Some others that are going to be coming up. And next, we do have, and you heard a little bit from him, Dining for Change. I'm real interested to hear this workshop here. But we have Aaron Harris, but we've all heard of him as Valentino. So let's give him a hand as he comes to talk to us about Dining for Change.
It's a unique situation, one that is kind of eroding our society, which is domestic violence. It's an association that has been formulated for over 5 decades. Started off in 1955. To give you a little bit of brief history on the organization, it's the National Association for Cosmetology. By me being a professional barber by trade, but also performance, beauty services for women, you come in contact with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women, and you see over the years the increasing levels of domestic violence. They're increasing even more so on a physical and on the more so mental. As far as you see the rising of divorces and things of that nature, how you have such people as pastors, such people as counselors that can't really get a fabric hold on what is really going on because it's changing so fast. Things are more so going from the interpersonal relationships with pastors to now they have to get more of a broader reach to get a hold on people because people's attention is more all over the place. So you have a lot of pastors that I know within my family that are in positions that they're dealing with a lot of women on an alarming rate that have all these issues. And anybody's familiarized with the church, they don't really more so condone divorces and things of that nature. Stick by your person, you marry them. But people have changed. People have to really be considerate of the individuals that they're dealing with because you have a lot of males that are growing up in a society that they're victims of domestic violence. They're seeing their mothers abused, their fathers abused. You got men that get abused too now. I'm telling you, and you got some mean women, you got some mean mamas. So people realistically only gonna emulate and imitate what they see. So if you have a mass society of individuals that are being abused, as far as in males, and they really don't know how to handle, dealing with women because you don't have a big, large male upbringing, like far as helping the youth, and men are not helping men, women are helping men, and it's a big difference. I'm not to take nothing away from women raising men, but they still need that fatherly attention per se. So now that you have a lot of, let's give you a brief overview so that we get a total understanding. You have a lot of women raising men, which is a lot of men are incarcerated. They say is over half of black males are in prison. So now that you have males in prison, seeing their mothers getting beat up as children, crack mothers on drugs, things of that nature. Now that you have the social networking scene, as far as online, those are different form of ways of cheating and things of that nature. Now as a couple, these males go into an unknown field. They in love mentally, but that's just the way that they express their love. Physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, and the women are more so, they kind of don't know what's going on because they confused, because they in love, and then hauled off, he slapped you, and now you got to come tell me that you've been getting slapped. And now I was more concerned that, I'm sitting in the salon doing hair, and I'm talking to one woman. She say, "Oh, I've been hit," and I mean, I'm not a counselor by trade. I didn't go to school to be a psychologist. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trained to be in a position of such as, God didn't call me to be a pastor, so I'm not, God ain't giving me no revelation to talk to you. And I ain't no counselor by trade, so, I don't really know what to say, so I kind of more so sought out to say, well, what can I do to be in a position to help somebody, more so get an understanding and a grip on this thing. So I kind of found an association that was set up and formulated for people within my profession that kind of more so provided the tools for me to be able to at least talk to somebody about these pressing issues. That's one of the number one issues that I see today. And it's over I'm not no surveyist, the person that's did some, extensive data research, but it's over 75%. It's very elegant. If I were to see on average 100 women a day, in some way in their lifetime they have been abused in some way, and that's alarming, because that's your mother, that's your grandma, that's your auntie, that's your cousin, and then the family members within the families of abused people don't go in and help the family members because they don't know what to do. They hear your cousin got slapped and they just like, well, I don't know. I'm not going over there, that crazy man. He got pistols too? No, I ain't going over there. So I had to get some tools to be, to kind of offset some of these questions that was arising. A lot of the questions that I was being faced with was my husband's cheating on me. His natural defense after he would cheat on her would be to backlash, because she's going to she don't know how to address the situation. A lot of people don't know how to communicate. They together, they married, so they just talk to each other any type of way they want to. And she come and he gonna play his male dominance, and she gonna play, today, her female dominance. Because it's an open society. I just said it's open now. So now she's gonna be in a position that she's gonna, directly confront a physical male that's a hunter, and then he's gonna offset and go into this reverting mode, and then gonna try to offset what he's been doing and physically abuse her. Now she's in a position that this is what I'm saying. That stuff takes a toll on me. I'm not in a position where I'm a counselor. Counselors are taught how to offset effects of dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. That's their job. They went to school. They've paid a lot of money to an institution to teach them how to offset what they're going to be encountering. But in me as a person, I'm in a position where I'm dealing with all this every day. Now I'm gotta go home with all this baggage. And I'm gonna call it a bag. I might as well call it a swimming pool. Cause it's deep. And then you sitting here with all this deep mess. She got beat, and you gotta keep up with it now too, because you gotta keep an update. She come on an every weekly basis. Now you gotta keep an update of how much she been hit. I'm trying to figure out, why don't you just call the police? Can't you call 911 and tell them? Ain't they trained to deal with your problems? They ain't got some free hotline or something? They want to get commercials on drugs. I want to say, they want to get commercials on drugs. Why don't they get commercials on domestic violence and numbers that they should call? So, getting back on topic, the word is cut it out. That's something that is one of the slogans that the association has formulated. Cut it out, because they really need to cut it out. Males need to cut that mess out, man. You can't hold nobody. That thing ain't you. It ain't you. You know what I'm saying? It's hers. You do whatever she want to do, and that's just the way it is. You can love a person, but I don't love you to death. Okay? Now that's to be realistic. So the institution holds a fundraiser every year in October, which is only held for 30 days. Now this is what I thought was very good, because it's good. I know it can grow to different times of the month, but I looked at it like one time of the month for 30 days we have a dining for change, which consists of anybody can be a part of this group. You just don't necessarily have to be a person that's a cosmetologist or a stylist, but if you're a woman, you probably have a stylist or a cosmetologist or somebody that provides you services, nails, there's a lot of things that y'all get, wardrobe, accessories, lips cracking, things of that nature. Somebody that y'all talking to could be a part of this. And what it consists of is only 10 people. 10 people, this is all they asking, that you invite 10 people out in a $25 donation, which 100% of the proceeds go towards this organization. Now, what you see formulated in a lot of different organizations, only so much of the money goes towards the actual thing that it's saying is being fundraised for. You know, so they got a different type of people they got to pay and all this, and administrative fees and all this. But what they found is 100% of proceeds go towards shelters and things of that nature for women to go and take advantage of once they get beat up. So you have Professional Beauty Association, which I'm a part of as well, which is also a part of the National Cosmetology Association, which that has been piled of a lot of industry professionals such as myself. I'm a celebrity hairdresser for the music industry. I deal with a lot of artists. They have problems too. A whole bunch of problems, more problems than y'all probably believe. A lot of issues. And so you got to deal with all these issues on a day-to-day basis. So I found that dealing with this organization, they've given me the tools to be in a position to read and get insight from industry professionals, counselors, things of that nature, to be able how to direct a person in the right type of way to these organizations. Because I'm not in a position to where I can tell you to do anything. If I tell you something and the effects of it come out wrong, I give you some advice. Or go home and just pack your stuff and leave, and it end up coming to hurt you and harm you in some type of way. That's on me. So I need to channel you in the right direction that puts you in a position that these individuals that have been trained and licensed can help you. So the association only consists of 10 people, $25 donations, and last year alone we raised over $100,000 just at that rate for the whole contribution. And you know, it's not hundreds and hundreds of millions, but you say $100,000 that 100% of the proceeds went. But if you would have raised $1 million, it'd have been probably like the same 100,000 that got there. So under those circumstances, you know, it's very good. So I'd just like to say that my friend Sherrod that has come today, I had a situation. That's why I wanted. It's like one of the main reasons I was trying to figure out why was I so angry. You know, not like angry like as a mean person. I think that I'm a cool person. But you have to evaluate yourself. And when you evaluate yourself, you kind of see things within yourself that kind of alarming to you. That kind of give you a certain type of, you know, what's wrong with me? You know, everybody want to figure themselves out. As you grow, you go through changes and differences that kind of put you in a position that you see things different. And, you know, so I called Sherrod one day. I said, man, I was in a relationship. I called him, asked him. He'll tell you. I called him. I said, I need to get out of here right now. I said, I am about to go to an institution of incarceration that consists of a 6x2, whatever number, I ain't never been, whatever number it is, cell. He said, huh? It's 11 o'clock at night. I gotta go to work. And he said, I'm on my way. I left the couch, the dog, the goldfish. He asked me to tell you. It was like all this stuff. I said, throw it away. Everything. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to be in a position to where I've seen people in the past that going down that spiral road. If something's done, it's done. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to move on. And that's just something I had to stand by. And that was just a conscious choice that I made versus being in a position to where I became, you know, she became the victim and I became the incarcerated individual. So, you know, and I think that, you know, a lot of relationship people need a lot more outlets for counseling that needs to be provided for people in relationships, and people need to talk to somebody. You know, we all are tribal. Everybody's tribal. Everybody holds everything in. You go, everything's so stressful these days. People at their jobs, they putting more workload on you. The job of 4 people now is your one job. And then everything's a domino effect. You going to work, your boss yelled at you, did something to you. Then you go home and he did something to you. Then you come to me, then I go home and I take it to her. She goes, and it's like a trickle down effect. So we need to have offsets and cut it off per se. So that's why we have hotlines are formulated that people can call and take privy of. And we also have a lot of other people in the professions like musicians and things like that. We have come out. And we just try to make it more of an overall social event individuals, but you will be alarming that sometimes people even stand up. We do permit it. People stand up and they give testimonies. You have a lot of women that you would never even think are being abused. Some probably right here, right now. You don't even know. You know, they might have a husband, a boyfriend that that yells at them or downs them. They might might not be Coca-Cola shaped no more, and feeling down, and you say something negative. If your wife is too big and she has bad eating habits, and start buying fruit. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing you got in the house is fruit, and she want to buy candy bars. She ate a candy bar and she ate some fruit. At least it's something. It's better than nothing. Be the example. You probably ain't no GQ magazine yourself. So at the end, your hair bald, go get some Rogaine or something. You know what I'm saying? You can't run a mile no more. You can't swim. So at the end of the day, we need to be in a position where we evaluate ourselves. And if you're in a position to where you're a mean person and you can't be tribal and coexist in society with other individuals, you need to separate yourself. You need to just eliminate yourself from just disrupting good people's lives. You kind of get what I'm saying? Because people can disrupt people. That's why you got so many divorces. Men don't know themselves. They grow up with no fatherly influence. They're in a position that a lot of pressing differences as far as in society, the choices they make early on affects them later on in life. That is a direct spiraling effect. They don't have like far as going to jail young and things that they choose to do, which was cool, now come back to haunt them later on in life. And women have to be conscious that if you met a man, now this is what I know for sure. If you met a man at Walmart, don't expect for him to be the CEO of Coca-Cola. He can be the CEO of Coca-Cola, but at that moment, he works for Walmart. So expect a Walmart person. So, you got women that think that they want this big, rich person and this, that, other. There's nothing wrong with wealth, health, and prosperity and all that other good stuff. But if you didn't marry that individual that bears those qualities, how can you uproot him from him? It's going to have to just be God himself. It's probably not going to happen. So at the end of the day, you can't make nobody. People are who they are, and they have to change for themselves. Now you can be in the position to where you can influence an individual. If they just don't want to be influenced, what can you do? You're just gonna ride it out. Then you have to come see me, and I have to hear about it on a day-to-day basis. And so that's why I say, we can all have fun and things like that, but this is a very, very serious situation. I'm talking about, I see women that have problems. I'm talking about people getting shot at, people getting stabbed, people, shootings, deaths. I'm going to funerals, seeing people that you was talking. I mean, that's what I'm saying when I say effective. You see people on Tuesday, then the next Tuesday they dead. You know what I'm saying? That takes an effect on you in a way to say this is a big problem. It's such a problem that the police don't know what to do. They like, well, we just gonna have to lock somebody up, but we don't know what's going on. They don't want to get involved with it. It's a touchy subject. You don't want to leave, but you don't want to stay. You just confused. Like, you got separate bank accounts you had from him, just in case if you do something again, you can leave. It's a downward spiral, and it's one that is directly affecting the black community at an alarming rate. The older women don't know what to tell the younger women because their nieces is getting beat up or got some boyfriend that sells drugs or in the inner city communities that they don't know what to tell them, and there's no type of help. So if you guys can guide them and just to those channels that they can seek some type of help or have access to it, then that's a good thing. So that's all I came here today to talk about, is that I'm a part of that association. I'm not asking for no donations today, but what I will do is I will give out the website the individuals can go to look at it, and it's PRO Beauty BEAUTY.org, where you can go and you can look up the information for yourself. And they already had the forms already formulated, the press kit releases, things like that for individuals that want to know information and get frequently updates of things within their area, organizations, and it's nationwide. So it's not just restricted for the Pensacola area of Florida. It's national. So And we just have to get a hold on what is happening today. So that's all I came here today to talk about. And we are in a dining environment. I thought it was some candles and some of the short ribs y'all had. And some of that green tea. We would have had a change up in here. Okay, so to get back on topic, so that's all I came here today to do was talk about was that, and not as extensive as coffee and changes like what is. It's definitely, yes, ma'am.
Valentino, I know for me, I like talking to my hairdresser. Not that anything is ever going wrong, but when you're listening to these stories and you get an incident where someone is seriously being abused, do you ever report it? What's your stance on that?
Well, my stand is like right now, today, I know an individual right now, like this very moment, today, right now, this second, that's in an abusive relationship that came to me 2 days ago. He beat me up, this, that, other, and the third, beat the kid up, and what I more so chose to do was I gave her different organizations she could contact. And then the alarming thing is that you go to the full extent to take your energy and channel all your energy. And I got a lot of things going on. I just don't just sit up here and talk to people all the time. I got this, doing. Then I got to redirect my time to deal with this issue, this pressing issue at that moment. You take out your time, get up out your bed, talk to a person, help a person lose your sleep. And then the person, you call the next day like, okay, did you check in? No, I'm still here. Huh? It's confusing. People they want to leave and they don't want to leave. So it's kind of like until they get into a position within themselves that they feel comfortable enough to leave. Only thing I'm not going over there, and I can send the authorities over there to that extent. I've done it before. It came back on me. I came back as the bad guy. Cause they had to pay the bill for the police to come out there and get them out of jail, and I was at fault in their eyes of being in a position to financially put them in a financial stumper because they had to pay for him to get out of jail. Now I have a problem with the individual because I called the police on him for beating her up. It's a confusing situation to answer your question. It's kind of like in my eyes, the only thing I can do is channel them towards the information or towards an organization that can more so help them.
Do you keep the information for domestic violence in your salon so somebody can
Right.
kind of see it and pick
Right, but at this moment, I'm not currently working in a salon. Only thing I do is I was doing a lot of music videos the last couple of years and things of that nature. But I keep the information on hand. And I do have a lot of counselors that I do service and things of that nature, and organizational heads, people that are working within the communities that I do service as far as for hair and makeup services. And I'll call them. On a 24-hour call basis, you can call them and talk to them. And I got prayer lines for them to call, but it's a touchy subject. It's one that a lot of people don't want to touch on too much because it's a sensitive subject. A lot of women that I find out have a lot of other issues too. Like their mother it's a domino effect. They might have seen their mother abused, might have seen their father abusing their mother, might not have had a father at all, the boyfriend or all the boyfriends. There's a whole lot of them. Always coming through, always coming by. So you have to remember that as parents, things affect your children in ways that you will not possibly believe because of your effects. So it's kind of like your kids pay for your actions. It don't affect you because that's your lifestyle. That's your comfortability. You used to living like that. But now your kids are the ones affected because they think that that's the way life should be. So when they get out into the real world, that's what they go out and seek. Somebody that's a nice person. Hi, how you doing? I'd like to talk to you. Want to go to a date? Open up your car door? No. Hey, come here. Yes. It's a backwards. Then they get 30 and 40, and the person coming through, hey, how you doing? Hey. And they got so much baggage. So what do you do? So I just say I can direct them towards organizations. It's a lot of counseling that's probably going to have to go into this thing. Anybody else have any questions?
I was going to say, Valentino, because you have a presence now in the downtown Miami area, I think that this is a good organization that you have, and a lot of people, especially like in this area, I don't think they realize that a lot of blacks are Hispanic, and a lot of us are also Haitian, and we don't always speak English, so I think the organization should offer services in English, and not English, but Spanish and Creole. Like get some reps and, you know, that speak those languages as well.
Yes, ma'am. I do have actually individuals that are Spanish in the organization. The only thing that is when you go into different ethnicities, people of different cultures, people in different cultures have different beliefs, and that's something that I would more so gear towards the counselors and the organizational heads that are in the organizations. I can more so bring it to the organization itself, as far as the Cosmetology Association. But as far as for me as an individual, is to get a lock on it. It'll take a lot of time to try to, because you deal like when in Miami, you have a lot of people from a lot of different places. It's international. So I can't me personally, I don't have the time nor the resources to provide to a person that's from Portugal to just try to single out 2 races versus all the vast of races, even though that those races make up the majority of the population. But I think that the organizations with its entirety should have individuals working in those organizations from different ethnicities to be able to help different individuals to be able to understand where they're coming from.
Y'all, I know this is a cosmetic organization that's going with the, I guess, the dying for a change. Do you
Right.
work with other, like I'm a nurse, so I'm sure some type of health, because I see the same thing, but in a
Right.
different form. I
Right.
have people talk to me when they're ill or in the hospital for that form, whereas you're styling them, they come, they vent to you, I get the same venting.
Right.
With my profession. Now, do you work with other professional groups like that? Or, how does, or do they do
yes.
that? Because I know it's one common.
Right. But it might be for nurses. I know that there's a lot of organizations that are formulated through a lot of different organizations. I know I sought this organization out for me, and anybody can become a part of it that is seeking to be a part of it, not just people within the hair profession. But you have a lot of nurses and doctors. More of a social group for people to come and gather and talk to. Like I said, but it's one time a year. You know, it's 10 people, that's all we're asking for. But we can meet up at any time. It's not restricted to just that one time. We can meet up all the time. It's just that for nurses and doctors, I know that that's a whole nother touchy subject. I see them before they come to you. You see them after they came from me. You know, it's a touchy. Is anybody else any questions?
Okay.
Everybody have a nice day.
I think that let's really give him a hand, because he should be commended because he set the infrastructure up. That was the kind of thing that we were talking about last night. You know, what are you saying yes to? And the passion that's on the inside, it was something when people kept coming to him, he did something about it. And it's almost like, say, a pastor with a mega church. He can't reach every one of his congregation one by one, but it's the people that are inside the organization that can also be those hands for him. And so the question that you had, you know, it could be that you can get a hold with some other nurses or some other people who are interested and connect with him and find out what it is that he does and maybe start a chapter. You know, so if it's a passion that you have, then, you know, you be that other arm. You know, connect with him, find out the information, and maybe even start your own in your area and bring them in to speak, or, you know, so there's other ways, but once the infrastructure has been set, then everything can springboard off of that. So I think that's also what you put down. Y'all, thank you for these questions, because we have people that are around us on a daily basis that get deep in the church, you know, and you can't talk about it, you know, verbally. You know, sometimes it's not even physical, verbal, like you said, the man, the woman change.